battle for the White House. Poll after poll showing the race neck and neck.
We know it is time for a new generation of leadership in America.
But America will be bigger, better, bolder, richer, safer, and stronger than ever before.
The candidates spending the last moments of the contentious race, blitzing the battleground states, pushing for every last vote.
We win this state, we win the whole thing.
Make no mistake, we will win.
And in Richmond, all eyes on City Hall with 5 candidates hoping to be the city's next mayor. Voters in the River City fired up.
It was very awesome, and I really felt good about voting today.
As results continue to pour in, Central Virginia thankful for democracy in action. From a casino proposal to an important Senate race.
I just feel really happy to have voted.
This is democracy in action right here.
And now the vote counting continues. It's election night on 12 on Your Side. Never before in modern election history has a presidential race been so close. You're taking a live look at the White House, where the race for the next president will be anyone's game. Key battleground races still close to call.
Years of campaigning bring us to this moment, and we thank you for joining us tonight at 11 o'clock. Polls in all but 2 states are closed at this hour here in Virginia. NBC News says Virginia and its 13 electoral votes just still too close to call. And tonight, vote counting continues all across the country, each state moving at a different pace because of various laws. And we are watching counting in Pennsylvania and North Carolina.
We have live team coverage across Virginia tonight. Political reporter Henry Graff and Franklin White with each political party, and Rachel DePompa standing by at her decision desk. Richmond reporter Madison McNamee and Chantel Davis covering Richmond's mayoral race, and Joel Vasquez is live in Petersburg covering an important casino vote. But we begin with Jen Sullivan and the race for the White House.
Americans at the polls to decide who will win the White House and shape the country's political landscape for the next 4 years.
For Donald Trump.
I voted for Kamala Harris.
These voters casting their ballots Tuesday in Michigan, one of 7 key battleground states that could decide the election. And it's a state that's seen record turnout.
We have seen both extraordinary engagement and turnout.
The number 1 most important issue to voters, democracy, followed by the economy, according to initial results of CNN's latest national exit poll. Voting kicking off with some serious security concerns, like in Georgia, where officials say several non-credible bomb threats were made at various polling locations, likely originating from Russia.
Georgia's not going to be intimidated.
More than 250 National Guard personnel assisting in 15 states, including Pennsylvania.
We have been dispatching lawyers and police officers and detectives all day to make sure everything was smooth.
Harris, who voted early via mail-in ballot in California, spent Tuesday in Washington, D.C., visiting a phone bank hosted by the Democratic National Committee to speak with likely voters. Trump casting his ballot in West Palm Beach, Florida. The winner will need 270 of the 538 Electoral College votes to clinch the presidency. No matter the outcome, history will be made. On election night, I'm Jen Sullivan, 12 on Your Side.
And for months, Governor Youngkin has called Virginia purple, saying former President Trump will win the state.
He's made several appearances in the Commonwealth, including right here in Virginia. Harris has not come to the state since taking over the ticket. Rachel DePompa is here right now at the decision desk, though, to break down the results as they're coming in right now.
Yeah, and let's take a look at the numbers here in Virginia. And I believe that Vice President Kamala Harris has pulled ahead of former President Trump in Virginia just slightly when it comes to the numbers in Virginia. I believe there are still about 885,000 early votes still outstanding here. So, and it looks like it is 49% to Harris and 48% to Trump. Too close to call. One of the big reasons here that this is too close to call is we are still missing a lot of votes from Fairfax City. And that is a Democratic area. You assume that Harris will take a lot of those votes. So we will see if that broadens out her margin there. But again, you can see 51% to 49%. She's taken a slight lead. At times, it kind of has gone back and forth. Also, Chesterfield, I told you, is something to watch. Chesterfield, Harris is actually leading by maybe 100 votes in Chesterfield at the moment, but we have 123 outstanding in those early votes that still have not been counted here. And that kind of can tell you how she is doing here in the Commonwealth. And again, the polling here is slightly different. She had a very big lead in the polling. It's very tight right now, but we are missing a lot of votes.
All right, Rachel, thank you. And remember, it's not just the presidential race on the line. All of our 11 congressional districts are up for grabs. Senator Tim Kaine winning re-election. NBC calling that race just moments ago. Republican challenger Hung Cao failing in his fight to unseat Kaine. And it's not just all of you at home eagerly awaiting election results. So are the Senate, Republican and Democratic parties. And just moments ago, Senator Tim Kaine declaring victory in Richmond. Political reporter Henry Graff there with him at the Hippodrome. Henry, what did he have to say?
Yeah, good evening to you, Riley, the junior senator here from Virginia, going back to Washington for a third term. Tim Kaine claiming victory moments ago on that stage here behind us here at the Hippodrome Theater here in Richmond. He was joined by his wife as well as fellow Senator Mark Warner, too. A lot of thanks to those who helped out with the campaign as well as those here in attendance in the audience here at this party. Kaine really talking about his career getting to here, starting here in Richmond in local politics and then moving to the governorship and then to U.S. Senate. And he remarked about being here in Jackson Ward and why choosing this location was so important for him tonight. Take a listen.
We're right around the corner from the Maggie Walker house. And there are very few sites in the National Park Service that are named after African American women. Very few. Very few. African American women have made a lot of history in this country. They just haven't been recognized for a lot of the history that they've made. And obviously tonight we're standing on a precipice where we might be able to make history again, but not just make it, but make it and recognize a very talented African American woman who is a friend, a great leader in her state of California, a great U.S. Senator, a great Vice President, Kamala Harris. And she has won Virginia.
Back out here live. That remains to be seen at this point in time. She is ahead right now. Tim Kaine calling that here on the stage. But we are still waiting for projections from the Associated Press, NBC News on that front. I don't think this was exactly the night Democrats were hoping for here. A number of them hoping to have been wrapped up a few hours ago, honestly, believing the Kaine race would have been called a lot earlier. And we're still waiting on Virginia at this hour. And as you can see, most of the space here behind me is now cleared out. We are live and on your side tonight here at the Hippodrome Theater in downtown Richmond. I'm Henry Graff, 12 on your side.
Thank you so much, Henry. Virginia Republicans, meanwhile, coming into Election Day, hoping to flip the state red for both the White House and the Senate. Franklin White is joining us live tonight from Dulles, where Republicans are closely watching the results. So how is the party feeling tonight, Franklin?
So as you can imagine, not the outcome they wanted, but Hung Cao is taking the stage right now. Let's take a live listen.
He's been such an amazing partner in this race, and I couldn't have gotten here without President Trump. And I truly mean that. He's been such an honorable man, and he's been there on my side when no one else thought we could win. I mean, they said this is unwinnable, right? And we brought it down to a very slim margin. We brought it down with no outside help. We had no support from any establishment. The only support I got was from 120,000 different donations that averaged about $25. And we were able to raise $10.5 million from the 120,000 donors. Usually people thank their family last, and I don't want to do that because after a 2-hour speech, you guys are going to forget what I had to say. But I want to thank my beautiful wife, April. She stood by my side for 26 years, through deployments, through combat. She's even had to give birth to our first child by herself while I was invading Iraq. And I want to thank her, my children, and all our family.
Okay, so as you guys are hearing live, Hunt Cowles thanks his wife, former President Donald Trump, for his endorsement. And again, all day this race was neck and neck, but again, it wasn't the outcome the Virginia Republicans were hoping for. We'll send it back to you in the studio. Reporting live in Northern Virginia, Franklin White, 12 on your side.
Thank you. Thank you, Franklin. And one of the most closely watched races here in Central Virginia, the fight to be Richmond's next mayor. New data continuing to come into our newsroom at this hour, but as you can see, Danny Avula with a strong lead. Michelle Mosby not too far behind. We have live team coverage of this important race. We begin with Richmond reporter Madison McNamee.
Madison, we know that you have been speaking to the candidates and their campaigns, so what are you hearing from them?
Jasmine, certainly a lot of excitement and gratitude from Danny Avula here tonight. Though in his speech a couple of minutes ago, he did acknowledge that this race is still not over, but he is leading in districts 1 through 4 as well as 7 right now. Michelle Mosby is only ahead of him right now in districts 8 and 9, though that was expected because that is her home base in the city's south side. So Avula's team here really isn't too worried about that, though we do only have limited results coming in right now from districts 5 and 6. Only about 1 or 2 precincts in those areas are reporting right now. I will say, when I was at the registrar's office earlier in the evening, I was told there was some issues with counting. All of the chiefs from each precinct ended up having to come to the office to deliver their votes to then put them through the machines there. Now, even though Avula is ahead in 5 districts, this race cannot be called yet because we do not have results from all of the precincts in those districts, but it is looking like they're leaning in his favor.
Absolutely amazing year, and as we watch these results come in tonight, I'm just incredibly grateful and really excited at how many Richmonders have put their trust in me and our campaign and the things that we stand for and that we're about. I'm really, really grateful. The list of people who have helped me get here is so long, and I can't even...
Now, he is leading so far in some of those competitive districts tonight. We were looking at districts 3 and 7. 5 was another one that he would need to be doing well in order to take this victory. But of course, we are going to keep you updated as we continue to get these results in here. I want to toss it now to my colleague Chantel Davis, who is over at Michelle Mosby's watch party. Chantel.
Now I'm here at the Black Olive on West Broad Street, where many of people gathered right inside this building, their eyes still glued to the TV as the results for Michelle Mosby comes in. Now, I will reiterate that the runner-up spot is very important because it could determine if there will be a runoff in December. Many here at the watch party are in good spirits as they wait for the results to roll in. Many well-known people from the community came out to support, like community activist Charles Willis and school board member Shavonda Dixon Fernandez. Michelle Mosby and her team acknowledges the results so far that they see is not what they want, but they remain optimistic as votes continue to roll in.
Until we get to the end where someone can tell me if we've drawn it, then there's still hope to see what happens out there. When we were out there, we had some good folk that said, you know, hey, we're with you. So we're going to see what it says.
Mosby, a former Richmond City Council member and first black woman to be Richmond Council president, believes she's the right person for the job because she has the tools needed to shift the culture of City Hall. Some of her focus points, if she wins, is affordable housing and public safety. And again, Mosby is trailing Danny Avula by a few thousand votes, but there are still a lot more votes that need to be counted, and we will continue to follow this all night long and bring you those results. I'm in Richmond. Chantel Davis, 12 on your side.
Thank you, Chantel. Now, in order to be elected, Richmond mayor candidates must win 5 of the 9 city council districts.
But what happens if no one wins 5 districts? Rachel is back at the decision desk with that answer for us.
Well, if I'm Danny Avula, I'm feeling pretty good right now because I am in the lead in the 1st, 4th, 2nd, 3rd, and 7th. That's 5 districts right there. Let's pull up the map real quick so you can see. You need to win 5 of the 9 districts. He's again leading in the 1st, 4th, 2nd, 3rd, and 7th. There's still outstanding vote there. Michelle Mosby has taken the whole bottom half of the map, and she is going to win the 9th and the 8th. But again, that's only 2. He is leading in 5, and 5 is all you need. So if he continues to carry the rest of those 5, he will be the city's next mayor. It's pretty clear he's got a hold on the 5 districts right now, and that's all you need. And then we wouldn't have a runoff, and it wouldn't matter what the popular vote says across the screen right now, because you have to win 5 of 9. Danny Avula is in a very good spot.
We've seen the votes here coming in, at least the precincts coming in, reporting a little bit slowly tonight. We didn't really see any action until closer to 8 p.m. and it's showing 53 of 72 precincts reporting. Rachel, at this point, though, will that really make a difference?
It does, and we're missing some areas in case because she's got a district in the 3rd she's claiming, so we need some more of the 3rd district in. But again, he has more vote right now there. If that were to swap, that would take that district away from him, and that would lead to a runoff, probably, in this state. But right now, if I'm Danny Avula, I feel like I'm in a good spot. We still need more vote to come in, though, before we know who the mayor is.
Yeah, too close to call. We'll keep refreshing all of these maps for you guys.
We've been saying that all night, but it's true. Thank you, Rachel. Tonight, Petersburg going all in on its casino referendum. You see the results right there. Voters saying yes. You're taking a look at the latest election results, 82% to 18%. Once opened, it will be the 5th full-service casino in Virginia.
Joel Vasquez joins us live from Petersburg tonight. Joel, what are you hearing from residents?
Yeah, guys, residents were elated to just find out that 81% of the vote went towards for support for this casino. Now, there was a whole lot of dancing, music, all just to celebrate this win for this community that many of them are in support of. Now, I spoke with the mayor tonight, and he tells me that this is Petersburg's big comeback, and that message was really reflected in the community members I spoke with, not only last week, but this week or tonight as well. Now, these community members feel hopeful, and city and casino leaders spoke following the win, and one of them says this casino is going to make people realize how great Petersburg is.
Petersburg is a hidden gem, but because of your yes vote, now it is going to shine.
Now, about 18% of voters voted no to this casino, many concerned about gambling and crime, but the mayor believes this casino is going to provide the community opportunity for jobs and education. The developers say it would generate a $2.8 billion economic stimulus for the region in the first 10 years and create 7,500 construction and permanent jobs. Now, the casino resort features 400,000 square feet of first-class gaming, hotel, and dining space, a 200-room hotel, and a 3,000-seat entertainment venue. Now, when I asked the mayor what the next steps are, he says they're going to get right to work. They're hoping to break ground within the first quarter of next year and have this casino resort completed by 2026. For now, in Petersburg, Joel Vasquez, 12 on your side.
All right, Joel, thank you. We continue up-to-the-minute results coming into our newsroom, but what do they all mean?
Our political analyst, Dr. Ernest McGowan, joining us once again here on this set. You have just been watching this. We've given you an office here at Tobin and given you all the inside scoop, but really, you've been watching this all closely. So where do things stand at this hour?
They still stand a bit uncertain. So the last time I checked, I think that they had Kamala Harris up by like 50,000 votes. But one thing that you have to remember is that there's still 885,000 early votes that are outstanding.
That's a lot.
There's still 20% of actual precincts that have not actually reported. You look at Richmond. Richmond is reporting at about 50%. Henrico's reporting at about 66%. Northern Virginia, Fairfax is reporting at like 60%. So there's still a lot of votes that are outstanding in the Commonwealth as well as around the country.
And Ernest, we just got an update minutes ago, really just seconds ago. The AP is calling the race. Donald Trump has won North Carolina. We've got about 89% of the votes counted, but they're calling it at this point. What do you have to say about that? Because I know there are a lot of precincts that had not reported yet.
Right, and it's also really interesting because I believe that they called the Senate race for the Democrat, and so the governor's race, sorry, for the Democrat, and so seeing that kind of split ticket voting is actually really interesting. North Carolina was never. Kamala Harris never banked on North Carolina. It would have been, gravy to pick it up. And so the traditional path that she was going to try to undertake is still there, still very much there. And then also again, with the bomb threat in Georgia, the polls they stayed open late, and so that means that the counting is going to be later. And those counties, those areas where the threats were, where the polls are outstanding, are around the Atlanta metro area. So very, very strong Democrat support.
Thank you so much. And maybe the advice is if you want to stay up for results, you might want to take a small nap, right? And then get back up and continue to watch coverage. No, thank you so much, Dr. McGowan, for your expertise tonight.
Now coming up, why some states take longer to report election results.
Then the presidential election is a race to the number 270, but what does that actually mean? Ahead at 11, a breakdown of the all-important electoral college. Megan?
Temperatures mild this evening, and we are going to be looking at near a record warmth tomorrow. I'll have the details coming up here after the break.